How y'all doing today? As you know, this is another episode of We Love Long Beach, right? One of the greatest cities that we can find in the state of California. My name is Micheaux, Fortson, like for show, Micheaux. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, although I was born in Long Beach. But I spent most of my childhood in Louisiana, in New Orleans, in the 9th Ward, off of Pauline and Galvez. You know, I moved to California in about 1987, and for me, it was a volatile time. It was like a time where being a kid was almost dangerous. I mean, I moved here, and I never forget the first day. My father and I, after a long road trip, stopped at my aunt's house. She wasn't there because it was the wrong house. Might have been the wrong city, I don't know. But I learned quick that you have to really be into yourself and know yourself, even at the early age of 10. I had to know who I was, and unfortunately for me, I didn't know what that meant. So, you know, I went through some ups and downs as a child, you know, delinquency, truancy, you name it. I was lost like most kids. Eventually that translated into gang activity and crime and other ailments that befall our community. But in those trials, I was able to learn that experience is job one. You'll learn from your experience if you pay attention. And a lot of people, I think the problem is a lot of us don't pay attention. We get in trouble and we can't learn from our mistakes. Luckily, I like to thank God, I learned from mine. By the time I was 20 years old, I was facing a prison sentence. I did my time. All the time I was there, I did nothing but study, you name it. I had to get a piece of it. And I had been writing poetry ever since I was a child. I mean, starting off with my mom who loved, you know, Roses Are Red, the love poems on Valentine's Day. And eventually, in my darkest times, it culminated into my greatest works and achievements. I write almost on a daily basis, and I think that's what keeps me sane. That's what kept me sane when I was in prison. I wrote constantly. So much that by the time I came home, I had a plan. You know, I had dreams and aspirations. So after spending about 6 years, I came home. I was living in Carson at the time. Still, my direction wasn't all the way sound. I didn't quite know where I was going. I would like to say that I became a father, though. And I have two beautiful twins, Nadia, my daughter, and Ajay, my son. And that was like the greatest thing that happened for me, because I was able to understand that besides having an idea, besides having a dream, you also need responsibility. And it was through that responsibility that I was able to find direction in my life. So let's jump a couple years, because I went through a little rocky marriage and I landed on another time of trouble. I ended up being reincarcerated. I fell into the recidivism. You know, I spent about 14 months on a possession case, and that was a wake-up call, because I had spent 5 years free, and that was a wake-up call to let me know, like, hey, you don't got it all, you know. And so I found myself coming home to not knowing where home was. Well, lucky for me, there was this beautiful college, Long Beach City, and I moved to Long Beach. I live across the street, basically. It's beautiful park, King Park. It's beautiful school, Long Beach City College. My beautiful woman, Eliza. And since I moved to Long Beach, I've been on the Dean's List 3 times. Wonderful staff, wonderful students. I'm active in student government, and I'm doing well. And I really would like to say Long Beach helped made it possible. This is one of the cities where you can come to and be yourself. You can be yourself, and I mean that self that's deep within. I'm not talking about what people become as a result of decisions. I'm talking about that self that comes from your mother, who loves your mother unconditionally, your father unconditionally, that little boy and little girl that exists inside of us. That person, that one that sees wrong and knows it's wrong and feels it's wrong. You can be that person. You don't have to worry about what people think or not being cool. I'm cool as all they come, and I'll show you in a minute.